Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. Sitting across from me, many miles away, is the lovely, the talented, a little bit sticky today, producer Scooter. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, April 17th, 2026. Good morning.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. And Friday.
Put a baby in there.
Down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
The website, www.jestersvoice.com. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media, at Jester Dooms. Make sure to check out all the social medias, interact with the videos, leave comments and things. How the hell are you? All of you. I think we're off to a great start today. Let's just put it that way. As you're listening to this, driving yourself to work in the morning, I definitely want you to understand I'm riding the struggle bus this morning. Tired. It's been a long week, a lot of stress. My retaining wall guy has not come yet. He's delayed over a week. So, yeah, there's that. And I haven't heard from him. So that's going to be a phone call that transpires today. We're going to see how that goes. This homestead journey, man, is it's a tough one. I don't. My brain is just misfiring with the things that are happening up there. My God. It's very rare I do the show and I'm just like blah, stumped, can't find my words. But today is one of those days. It's one of those days I'm having trouble finding my words. It's like, you turn this on, you come in, you open up the computer, you fire it up, you get in, you get the mic going, and then usually it just clicks. Like I'm in that mode. It's a nice little happy place in front of the microphone. I'm in that mode. I'm in that zone. But I'm not zoning today because there's so much outside stress that I can't get over. And stress eats at me, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. And I try, I try to come to the realization that if I can't fix a situation, there's no sense dwelling on it. But what do you do when you're in a situation where you have new stressors coming at you every day? Well, of course, now you're facing a new stressful problem every day that you're trying to figure the fuck out. All right? Like that's what you're doing. And sometimes we blow things up in our minds out of proportion and make them way bigger than what they are. A lot of people are guilty of that. Some people, I wish I was one of these people that could just downplay everything like it didn't fucking matter and deal with it if they have to, and if not, ignore it and it'll go away. I know a lot of people like that. I do not possess that quality because I'm a very rare type of individual. I overthink everything. Shit eats at me. And then what ends up happening is I will find a solution for the problem in front of me if there's not a new problem that is arising. But lately, it's been a new problem arising every fucking day because of the extended family that's had to move in. So I am just floored today with the added extra things I have to do, and it just absolutely fucking kills me. All right? And I think that you try to be, everybody wants to be a good person. They try. And everybody wants to have the outside world look at them in a good light. But I got news for you guys. It doesn't really fucking matter. At the end of the day, what matters is how your kids look at you, how your spouse looks at you. Your coworkers don't fucking matter, man. They don't. It's amazing. I go back and I think about my first job, like not working for my father's company, but my actual first job that I've had, like on paper. And I think back to my coworkers and people I worked with, and like I could remember everybody from that first job. I don't remember them from the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. I don't. I think we spend a lot of time worrying about people that do not fucking matter, that are blips on the timeline radar. And it's not fair to you as an individual to try to appease people that do not matter, that aren't main characters in your life. It's not fair. We're told that being selfish and worrying about yourself and nobody else is a very bad quality to possess. But at the end of the day, it creates stability in your life, does it not? I think it does. If you're already thinking it is, it's going to be one of those episodes. We'll be right back after these messages.
Need a break from reality? Well, sometimes I do too, and the place I go to take that break is the Beans and Weenie Show. You can find the link at linktree.com/BWD crew. The Beans and Weenie Show, where chaos and common sense wage war and you get a front row seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everyone on social media at Jester Dooms. Okay, now getting back into this. The idea that you have to bend and flex to appease other people, I think, is the wrong mentality to go through life. Carrying that with you. I've learned valuable lessons over the years that I want to share with all of you. I remember being the youngest guy on a job site and everybody saying, you know, you've got a good, young, strong back. You can do this, we can't. We're older, we're tired, you know, you do this. And at the time, nobody told me what my back was worth. Like, how much would you pay to not have degenerative disc disease? How much would you pay to not be in constant pain? How much would you pay to not go to the emergency room in the middle of the night because you can't fucking walk? Like, nobody told me. That's the price you're paying as a young man for what you're doing and trying to appease your coworkers and trying to appease your boss. But you know what? I busted my ass, tore my back all to shit so the company can make some more money. At the end of the day, what the fuck did I get out of it? Nothing. Were my coworkers in that moment happy because they didn't have to lift anything heavy? Yeah, sure. Do they call today to check in on me? No. Haven't heard from them in fucking years. Don't even remember most of their names. And I've tried to be the voice of reason to the younger guys that I see in the workforce, asking, how much is your back worth? They said, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you throw it out, you're going to want a lot more than what you're getting per hour. And they just look at me with a stupid look on the face because they're not told that by the man. They're not told that by the boss. They're not told, hey, you need to protect yourself. You need to do this for you because getting that paycheck's fucking great so you can buy your kid that fucking baseball glove he wants. But if your back is so fucked up, you can't throw him the ball, what's he going to do with that glove? Stare at it? Be more upset because you can't go out there because now you've created a situation to make him happy that you can't fulfill? One of my favorites is like people come into you and say, hey, I need a favor, or I need some help, or I need a favor. And, you know, you do these favors for them. You help them out. You try to be a good friend. And then they burn your ass. So I'll tell you guys a story. I must have asshole written on my face because I get painted as an asshole all the time. I had a friend, I haven't talked to him in years, in the state of Florida. Okay. Now, living situations got crazy. And I mean, I could probably do 5 episodes about all the things that ensued and the drama and everything else. But we're not gonna go down all these crazy roads. But I will say this. I had a friend. This friend lived next to me. And we were kind of like pseudo roommates. Like he lived behind the house. Okay. In like a guest house. And we were both renting there. And I made the decision I had to move out of this place. Okay. Well, the decision was made for him, I guess, shortly thereafter. I don't remember if he decided to move out voluntarily or what exactly happened, but he ended up moving in with me. And he moved in, he stayed for a while and didn't want to contribute to bills, didn't want to contribute to anything, just wanted a free ride. And I said, bro, you know, this isn't working. This isn't working for me. There's a lot of money that's going out to keep this place afloat every month and you're kind of skating along. So you got to put out or you got to get out. You know, you have to start doing something to contribute because you can't just get this free ride forever, dude. Like you've been here for a couple months and it's just like you're another person here eating the food and running up the electric bill and running up the water bill and you don't pay shit for rent. Like you got to either throw something into the pot or you got to go on your way. Well, he made the decision to go on his way. Now, at the time, all of his stuff was in a fucking storage unit. Okay. Now, how I got dubbed his contact for the emergency or for the emergency contact person or whatever the fuck for the storage unit, I have no idea. I guess he just put me down because he had nobody else to put down. So after being used for a place to stay and trying to be a good friend, somehow got put on there. And then they would call me. every month, every other month, hey, your friend is late on his payment. We're trying to get a hold of him. Can you get a hold of him? I'd have to make the phone calls. Now I'm taking, like, I'm his fucking secretary. I'm taking his fucking phone calls for him. Having to relay messages from the storage unit saying that they're going to put a lock on his shit and his shit's going to be gone if he doesn't pay his bill. This went on for a while. And then, of course, me being a good friend and being a glutton for punishment, I say to the guy, I said, listen, I have space to store your stuff. When could you come get it? Because, clearly you're having trouble paying this bill. I don't want to keep taking your phone calls for you. I'll go there. I'll clean out the fucking unit. All right. I'll get your stuff out of there. I'll keep it here till you can come get it. Because it's not that much stuff. The guy's storage unit was like a 4x6. It wasn't like a, 8x10 or a 10x20 or something huge. It was a little like 4x6, like a fucking big, like a little closet that he had stuff in. Right. So it's fine. Fair enough. Go get the stuff. So, okay. I go get all of his shit. It's sitting there and I say, dude, look, here's the deal. I got your stuff. I'm storing it here at my shop. I said, I can't do this forever because it is in the way. So when are you going to come down here and get it? He's like, well, soon, man, soon. I'll get it soon. Soon. Heard this for months. Okay. All right. So some time rolls on. A few months go by and I tell him, I said, dude, it's been months now. I haven't heard when you're coming down to get this. I said, I need something out of you now telling me what you're doing or the shit's got to go in the fucking dumpster, dude. Cause like I can't do this forever. I said, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to be a friend. I already went and got the stuff from the unit for you, because he's 600 miles away. He can't do it. So I went and got your shit. I got it out of there. Like, what do you want to do here? He says, well, bro, I'm just working too much to come down there to get it. And I said, I understand that, dude. But I said, I'm also working too. And something's got to get, I can't just hold on to your shit forever. Okay. He says, well, how about this? Would you bring it to me? And I said, if you fucking pay me, I'll bring it to you. And he's like, how about this, dude? He said, let's work out a deal. He's like, you've never been up here before, right? And I said, no. He says, well, how about you bring me the stuff? You take a week off work, you come up here, you bring me the stuff, and I'll give you one hell of a week's vacation. I'll take you to all the good places to eat. I'll buy you dinner every night. Like, I'll take you to do this. I'll buy the beer. Like, we'll do whatever. We'll go kayaking. Like, we'll do everything, man. Just what do you think about that? And I was like, well, I could use a vacation. So that doesn't sound too bad. So me being the good friend that I am, I go ahead and go out. I buy a tarp, some bed nets. I buy some moving blankets. Just, go get all the Harbor Freight shit. Didn't break the bank on this, but like meticulously packed his things for travel. Like, so nothing would get damaged because I'm a good friend and I don't want to see his shit get fucked up. Like, I took responsibility for this stuff. I don't want to arrive with broken shit. Right now, mind you, I didn't have to do this. I took it upon myself to do this. I wasn't requested that I do this. It was just, I took it upon myself to make sure his shit was safe. Okay. Drove his stuff 600 miles away, delivered it to his house. Hung out for a week. It was a great fucking week. We did all the things we said we were going to do, except we didn't get to go ziplining. We were supposed to go ziplining, but they were closed for renovations or some shits. But got amazing steak dinners, did some like fancy dining at some fancy restaurants, went on waterfall tours. I mean, like, we did it all, man. We did it all. So he came through with what he said, like, I'll give you an awesome week's vacation. You come up here. And it was true because the dude was working. The dude had money, like things were good. Just him taking off time of work was like really kind of hard for him to do and didn't have the most reliable vehicle to go that far away, but was fine. So fast forward a couple years, he's a groomsman in my wedding. We're still friends. Anytime I'm in town, which was every once in a while, I had a key to his house. I'd stop and I'd visit. And if he wasn't home, I'd go and I'd move some shit around to fuck with him. And then I'd leave, like do some really weird shit. Like, so he would never know that I was by there, but I had a calling card whenever I stopped at his house. He had this plastic rooster, like about 6 inches tall, that lived on the stove. And anytime I would go there and he wasn't home, I would take that rooster and I would hide it somewhere in his bedroom, like typically in his pillowcase or something. And he would find it a week later or something. And I'd get a phone call like, hey, were you here? I found the rooster. Like, oh yeah, I was there last Wednesday and you weren't there. So I wanted to let you know I was there. And that kind of rolled on for a while. Whenever I relocated and I moved, he ended up being an hour and a half down the road from me. And I think this is where my patience with our friendship and me discovering things were extremely one-sided. Not that I didn't really know they were one-sided before, but extremely figured out this like really bad. Is I live an hour and a half down the road. He frequents an airport that's not too far from where I live. He drives past my house to get to another airport. Never stops, never calls, never nothing. I've drove the 600 miles to his house a handful of times just to visit and hang out with my friend. He's made it to my place once, an hour and a half away. Has drove past my house multiple times to go to the airport, to go to concerts, whatever, doesn't call, nothing. Every once in a while, I'll get a phone call when he's wasted at like 2 a.m. Like, hey, man, what's up? I miss you. I want to come out next week. Never does, never calls back, goes ghost, right? So finally, after this transpires for a couple of years of, hey, I'm coming over, and then just ghosted me, I finally call him on his shit. I said, I've done a lot for you over the years. And I said, I always try to be a good friend, man. I said, but you know what? I said, it just always kind of ends the same way. Like, I'm this single-use, single-serving friend, and that's it. I said, I don't appreciate getting burnt by you. Like, when you tell me you're coming over and then I don't hear from you for 3 weeks, or, you only call me when you need something, or nobody else will answer the phone when you're wasted and then I pick it up. Like, this just isn't fucking cool, man. And somehow, in the end of all this, I'm the bad guy to him. I'm the asshole. Now, I could say within our circle of friends that we had, I did more than any other friend did. As far as taking time out of their day, going out of their way, making it a point to call, making it a point to visit. I was definitely there more than anybody else was. And in the end of the conversation, I'm told I'm the asshole. Now, with all of these things that were done, with all of the time and efforts that went into everything, I don't know how he could interpret that I'm an asshole for standing my ground and saying, dude, you got to quit fucking burning me, man. If you want to come over, but like, stop this bullshit of telling me you're coming over and then fucking burning my ass. Like, stop it. Like, I would love for you to come over and hang out and kick back and have a fire and have some drinks and fucking cook some food on the grill. Like, that all sounds fantastic, but you got to stop this bullshit, man. What bullshit? Well, you call me wasted all the time trying to make plans with me, and then you literally tell me you're on your way, you never show up, and then I don't hear from you for a fucking month. And then boom, you call me wasted again. What the fuck is this, dude? Like, why am I don't even know why I'm answering the phone anymore. Oh, you're just an asshole. Okay, sure. I'm just an asshole. Sure. And I ended up telling the dude, I said, dude, man, look, I said, I considered you a good friend. I said, but I think it's time, like, you just kind of fucking lose my number, man. Like, this is all fucking bullshit. Like, so I ended up hanging up on the dude, fucking blocked him on everything. Like, I reached my breaking point. Like, I had enough. And I kind of forgot that he existed until the other day. So the other day, my wife says, you'll never guess who messaged me last night asking about you. And I said, who? And she responded with, it was him. And I said, oh, what all did he say? And she gave me like the play-by-play, which wasn't very much. Basically asking what was new, how we were doing, things like that, which tells me that, hey, maybe he's burned a few more people. And now maybe he's going through recycling of the friends, going back to old dooms and trying to find out what he's doing because maybe he's burnt some more people. Now, this was somebody that I considered a good friend for about 10 years. Now, in all actuality, I think we maintained our friendship because we had so much distance between ourselves, because I think if we were together 24/7 all the time, we would have drove each other crazy. I made it a point to make this friend happy, to try to be a good friend, to try to just be a good person in his life, and not for any other reason other than he was a friend that I cared about. And I know he didn't have a lot of people in his corner, but now I see why. Now here's 10 years and a lot of time, a lot of effort wasted when it didn't have to be wasted. Now, I started this episode out with, you really don't need to worry about what other people think. And you really don't need to worry about how you're interpreted by other people. And it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, none of it matters. Okay? It just doesn't. So I guess the point of this episode and the short truth in all of it is like, you don't know what's coming down the road. You don't know what's on the other side of the fence. You don't know what's on the horizon. You don't know. But things that I've learned over the years, I would never waste that time again. The moment that friend came over to stay with me, and when the conversation had to happen about, hey, dude, you're skating along, you're getting a free ride here. You gotta throw some money in the pot. You gotta do something to help out. Like, you can't just be living here for free forever, getting a free ride. Like, that's not how life works. Whenever that conversation happened, and it was, well, fuck, I'll just go somewhere else. It should have been pretty much cut communication there. And then whenever the phone calls started about the storage unit, it should have been one phone call to him. saying, hey, your storage unit people called me. You're not paying your bill. You need to get on top of that like a fucking adult. Oh, and oh, by the way, I had my number took off that shit, so they won't call me anymore. And that should have been the last conversation that was had. But it wasn't, because like there was a part of me that felt bad for this individual. Like, here's this guy in life that like has nothing, has really nobody, you know, can't seem to catch a break, can't seem to get his life in order, and is just kind of doing what he can for survival. Let me be the good person and help this guy out. It doesn't get you anywhere. In that capacity, it doesn't. You're better off taking time and volunteering at a soup kitchen. You're better off doing a closet clean out once a week and taking shit down to Goodwill or the Salvation Army or somewhere. You're better off going through your food pantry and saying, you know what? I don't really eat this type of fucking canned food anymore. I'm going to take it and donate it to the canned food drive. You're better off doing shit like that to help people than you are getting close to people and doing a lot for one person and getting burnt. And this needs to be applied for coworkers. This needs to be applied for family members, like all across the board. The more people use you, the more they take advantage of you, the more it will continue. So the reason I got on this soapbox today is because I'm seeing another situation going down this same road again with someone in my life. And they're not a person in my life that I can just cut the fuck out and be like, bye, and shut the door and turn the lights out on them. Like I'm not in a position where I could do that, but I'm seeing the same kind of things transpire. Mainly the conversation of like, you're going to have to start standing on your own 2 feet here. And, you know, this person's basically saying, fuck you. I'm just going to find somebody else to pull the victim card with. And it's like, I see where this is going. And that's what put me on the soapbox today. And I figured I would just share this friendly piece of advice with you. So maybe that you could apply it in your life and not be taken advantage of like a sucker. Anyway. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be back here on Monday for another excited episode of the Doom Daily Show. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe. Producer Scooter, if you would, hit that button, sir.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.